The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's that
Hello.
time. It's that time. It's that time. My apologies. It's Tuesday, the 17th day of May, 2022. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House, One Communications and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Sherry Vanderpool, and Leanna Lambert will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sherry, it's Tuesday, and I was just singing my way into the second workday of the traditional work week. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. But I'm feeling hot. So I'm like, am I going through something? Like I feel the heat.
Oh, I,
Could it be happening?
I'm not entering that conversation. I know my place,
Good
my
job.
space. Yeah, I'm not. Look, I
Good job.
choose safety, not violence, this early in the morning. Nope.
That's a lie there, but that's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm allowed to tell a fib every now and then. It happens. It happens. But
It's a
since,
lit.
I'm just gonna say, get yourself a air conditioner, a fan. They sell all different kinds of, unique toys on not Instagram. What's that thing called? Amazon.
Toys.
Amazon. No, Amazon, where it keeps you cool. Like those fan things. Gee, you
Yeah,
all.
I mean I didn't have the fan on because my eyes tend to water when I'm doing this, so I don't have the fan on.
That's what happens as you get closer to 50. If it's not one problem, it's the solution to the problem is another problem. And
And you're right behind me.
yeah, yeah, that,
Below, shortly, but you're
yeah, yeah.
behind me.
Yeah, I've heard. I could take it. I could take it. Whatever. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today, as we welcome Paul Richards and Emanuel White to the show, discussing their Be the Change event for Black men. So this should be an interesting conversation. The Daily Play is a remember when, so a bit of history for all of you, including Sherry. Notice I didn't say for Sherry. It's a
Thank
bit of
God.
history for everyone, and it's some fun history today. So hopefully I believe in the Bermudian people. I believe in you
You
today.
keep you always say it's fun, it's this, and then look, now I feel hot. I feel, anxiety.
You know,
I'm gonna check my contract for an anxiety
your
law.
your temperature has nothing to do with me or the questions that you're going to be asked. You feel me? Sam Cat Play says TMI. Yep. I'm not. Look, I have to choose safety in certain conversations, folks. I know you all think I come every morning choosing violence and chaos and whatever it's called, but nope. Sometimes safety is the best way. All right, Sherry.
Hmm.
Um,
Yes.
we didn't touch on it yesterday for a great length of time, but there's some crazy things going on in the world. Obviously, in the United States of America, shooting after shooting after shooting. And it's always seems to be just so racially motivated. Always seems like one group is being attacked or gunned
Right.
down. But I'll encourage people to keep their eyes on what's going on in that situation. But in Bermuda, we have our own issues as it relates
Yeah.
to gun violence and shootings. And again, it's same group that's impacted. It's just a matter of who's actually pulling the trigger most times. But
Mm-hmm.
this morning, we're discussing something a bit lighter, as serious but lighter. Now,
Yeah.
I live in South Florida. Sherry is outside Atlanta in Georgia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about Georgia, but I know in South Florida when we road work is taking place, um, a lot of it you'll see signs that please note that there will be one lane traffic on 95 or the turnpike 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. when people are generally not on the roads. We got a lot of that, right? Now, well, okay, jump. What's it like? Are they like that in Georgia?
Yes, Jamal. Most places that have high frequent traffic
Okay.
do it at night.
Okay. So you all know where but see, okay, so you know where we're going. Let's ask the question, and then I'll go a bit further. So, obviously, yesterday, you read the article. I'm just looking at the Royal Gazette. So there's some road work going on in the city of Hamilton. We're road paving, right? And there are people who were quite upset, saying, why would they wait until Bermuda tourist season and the busiest season to start doing this road work? Or some people saying we had 2 years of pandemic, they could have done this road work. And then now you hear myself and Sherry, we're speaking of our experiences in the US, where a lot of road work takes place when it doesn't inconvenience the majority of people overnight. Now, I have my opinion on this, right? And this goes deep. This is not surface level. There's a reason I believe that it doesn't happen like it happens in the US in Bermuda. Number one, there's unions in Bermuda that have a lot of power. If these organizations start to tell people that they have to do work overnight in Bermuda, you think those unions ain't gonna say no? They're not. They have families. They need to be. I'm just saying, and I'm not knocking the unions. I'm not knocking the unions. What I'm simply, I mean, literally, I'm not knocking the unions. But I wouldn't
Yeah.
care if I am.
Right.
Let me just be clear about that. Ain't no union of scare me like that. But I'm just trying to be honest with it. That this is not a knock on the unions. This is just helping people understand and appreciate why Bermuda operates differently, and maybe work doesn't take place overnight, or sometimes, I don't know if it's like this in Georgia, Sherry. Sometimes they do it on weekends, like weekends when there's less traffic on a Sunday. So the question of the morning: how can we improve the roadwork situation in Bermuda? Do you believe that Bermuda should adopt some of the practices that happen in the United States to ease it? Because we're talking about inconveniencing people to going to work, taking their children to school. We're talking about inconveniencing the very thing Bermuda needs, which is visitors to the island, that types of investment, and their experience being interrupted by this. Does Bermuda need to relook at when and how it does its road work? What are your thoughts?
Well, Jamal, we know it comes down to dollars and cents, right? And if you don't have a shift that is overnight, that means that it's overtime. Let's be real. And because of that, then you have this pushback from, is it the corporation or from God? I believe it's the corporation, that you're not going to be able to pay these people what they should be paid, which is an overnight salary, which could be overtime. But if you create a shift that is particularly for an overnight position, then voila, I don't have an engineering degree, but then that makes sense. Why would you do this during the day, during the busiest times that people are trying to get to and from work, trying to get to businesses to reboot this economy, but you've made the inconvenience? No, we can say that, well, this is great for the ferry system. People can start using the ferry and not drive their car as much. All of those great things, yes. But do it at night.
Well,
Wait till 6 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock and start to do it until 3 o'clock in the morning. That's a shift.
well, you make some great points. First thing you said was overtime. Well, to eliminate overtime, you have shifts, which you answered, right? The challenge is there that much work in Bermuda that's going to require people to be on shifts, different shifts like that? Well, if there's not, then shifts are not necessarily mandatory. You just change the shifts when needed, right? So
When needed.
Now, here's some comments on the story on the Royal Gazette. It says, someone says, hopefully they consider paving the roads after high traffic hours, which just makes sense, right? It makes sense, right? Then someone says, not sure if they
I read it, Jamal. I read it.
Not sure if they are that smart. They have the trash truck picking up trash along the street between 8 and 8:30 a.m. every morning, causing long lines of traffic heading out of town. Considering that we are in Bermuda, another comment says, anything's possible with this egotistical island. Folks, look, I always say, Sherry, I say it to you guys all the time. I don't consider myself an expert at anything. I don't. I literally mean that when I say it, right? So my opinions are just me thinking about stuff, like actually giving myself a chance to process
Critical thinking.
like literally, right? And I'm not criticizing the city of Hamilton, who are great friends of ours. I'm not criticizing works in engineering. What we're doing here is we're asking questions. The purpose of this show is to have conversations that lead to a better community overall, whether it's violence, whether it's the way we go about our day every day. But we cannot sit here and actually believe that this is the way to continue to do things.
And I'm glad you said the trash truck, Jamal. I'm glad you said that, because sometimes the trash used to be picked up at 8 o'clock at night. You understand what I'm saying? So it can be done, and you're right, as needed. This is a shift that will be coming up at some point during the year, and we will need people to sign up and be a part of that shift. That might work for somebody who decides that they want a couple of days off to do some things, work on it. They might be night people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people work well on that third shift, as they call it.
Yeah, especially if it's only then. Sam kept plays for you, Cherry.
We wished it would happen at night here, but the funny thing is, Belco does not work overnight. I have friends does work overnight. My apologies. I have friends who are out there running cables at night. They need to adopt the same as the US. It works.
It's funny what they choose, like what as a culture and community. It's funny what we choose that works in the US versus what we don't. Sean Smith says if Bermuda was to do the road work at night, all the people that work 9 to 5 will complain about the noise from the machines. So okay, hear this out. I'm not quite sure exactly, Sherry. Number one is you complain about inconvenience during the day or complain about the noise at night, or in the city of Hamilton, I'm not quite sure there's that many residences that will be impacted, but I could be wrong.
Some apartments, but not that many, I don't think.
I don't think there's a volume that yeah, we're talking about majorities. Traveling Trotty says road construction should be done at night if a project site cannot be adequately isolated and the operation is unviable during the day. It just makes sense. It makes sense. Nicole Walker says employers can come to an agreement with the union and the employees to work outside of normal hours if they really wanted to work overnight for special projects and not inconvenience the public. And David Michael R. Wilson, he says the people have families is used in Bermuda. The same can be said in the US. Therefore, it doesn't make sense here if it can be done in the US at a time deemed after hours. And then Traveling Trotty will go back. She says, yes, the trash should be collected during non-rush hour time. All right. So all of those comments seemingly kind of say there's ways to avoid inconveniencing the majority of people, right? Absolutely. But I think also everyone's very aware of how culturally Bermudians react to this kind of stuff. And again, I'm not knocking us. I'm just simply saying, right? You know me, I'm in bed by 10, so I'm not even out and impacted by there's what's going on in the roads out here. But let's just say I take that weekend and I'm traveling back from Miami, about an hour drive from South Beach home, right? And there's only one lane open, right? No, trust me, it's still gonna be some traffic once it's one lane, but it's not gonna be like it was right now, 7 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah,
it's gonna be turning from a 45-minute drive to 2 hours because there's much less traffic. And guess what? Those workers out there, they understand they have families as well, folks. They do. But guess what? They have shifts or they have overtime. What I'm really trying to get us to understand is we need to make our minds up what kind of culture we want to be as we evolve, as we grow forth, as we grow. Go ahead, Sharon.
No, we pick convenience at the time. Like it's not a problem until, of course, it impacts us, correct? So therefore, it's all great on paper, and then when it happens, there's an uproar. It's on a front page of the newspaper. So, it's just like, why can't we do some forward thinking and feel like how this can impact us? Bermuda, in Hamilton, you got kind of one way in and one way out. How would this make sense? Unlike the United States and Florida and Georgia, you have back roads. You can veer off and go around things. You can't do that. And with that being said, and with that being in mind,
Mhm.
why would we impact the busiest time of the day? It
Yeah.
just doesn't make any sense.
No, it really doesn't. Ebony Souza, Sherry.
Parks parked at on Trimmingham Roundabout during morning rush or afternoon rush is my pet peeve. It's almost like these works wait until the most inconvenient time. All right,
No,
Ebony.
honestly, and again, this is not directed at individual departments or anyone, but it's almost like I feel her agitation and her annoyance. It's almost like it's done on purpose for some reason, like because it's so embedded in the culture of who we are that, well, it's been this way all this time. That's the vibes I get from it.
But I'm going to take it a step further and go on the side of the workers. Maybe they do want to do these shifts, but they're not being offered overtime. So they're like, oh, well, we'll do what we need to do in the time period that we're given. There might be people that are like, yes, we want to do this overnight. We want to do this, but we're not being either offered the shift
Yeah, but
or
Sherry,
offered the overtime.
what,
So they're
what,
doing what they're
but Sherry,
directed.
one thing I've learned about working in the United States, it's not about overtime, it's about shifts. So
Yeah.
I think again, culturally, Bermudians have been ingrained, and I don't think I find nothing wrong with this. Let me be clear. But culturally, Bermudians are like, no, I'm not doing that if it's not you're not paying me overtime. However,
Yeah.
the organization would just have to shift to say, well, we're changing to shift work now, and these are going to be the shifts that are required for next week. This is who's on them. No, if you want to challenge that based on whatever you signed up or your contract says, then that's a different thing. But the
Right.
organizations need to be wiser and smarter. If you know that your organization is responsible for road paving and so on, then you hire people based on shifts, not set times. Renee
Yeah.
Simmons says, good morning, only in Bermuda, whether they worked overnight or weekends, it helps to eliminate the traffic. BDA is not like it used to be. The traffic is now more notorious than ever. Now, key point,
Yes.
years ago, we're talking decades, remember, on a Sunday, there used to be the only traffic on Bermuda's roads on a Sunday if you were going to church or hold on, I'm gonna throw my family out there. Or you were picking your children up from Sunday school because you know our parents, like man, they dropped us off from Sunday school. They didn't stay, right?
Wow, Jamal.
I'm just saying, but you know that was, or you was going to that family picnic, but we didn't
Yeah.
have a lot of traffic on the roads back then in Bermuda. So that's a good point. You know, times have evolved. Maybe it is time to do work overnight on weekends. But this is a good point. Rick Olson says the effect on business is devastating and trickle downs to staff. I, for one, have closed my kitchen to 4 p.m. Now, I did see something on
Unreal.
Facebook yesterday that I believe his business, Bermuda Bistro, I could be wrong, but he actually had to close down. No, if he has hourly workers, they are now being impacted because the organization responsible has decided to inconvenience his business, right? And therefore, they're now losing out. So look at that trickle down. These are things we don't think about. Traveling Truddy says we are too small not to all be working together for the good of the island. Let's work smart. And this is why I love this audience.
Yes.
Solutions. Shanna Smith says, I think history has shown that most decisions aren't made with the people. She says, I think history has shown that decisions aren't typically made with the people in mind. We get the
Obligatory.
that word there. We apologize for the inconvenience statement, and that's it. Like, and that's it. Because if you go to the statement, there was, if I'm looking at the Royal Gazette, there was, the city apologizes for any inconvenience caused to commuters and asks for the public's patience as we seek to improve our roadways and sidewalks.
I have a question for Rick, if he doesn't mind answering in the chat. Was restaurants and businesses contacted and informed or asked about their thoughts on this road construction happening?
That's a good question. Were you asked, Rick Olson? Were area businesses consulted?
Yes.
Were you told? Were you asked? That's good. That's a good one because if not, that's, and I mean, man,
because being told and consulted is two different things.
Yeah. I mean, because again, as a business, he says not as far as I know, but as a business, you are a stakeholder, right? One would think we're going to say, you know what, hey, all, we need to do some work. We're thinking this is the best time to do it. And then the business gets to respond and say, this is not in our best interest.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, if it was done at this time, it'll probably make more sense for not just us as a business, but patrons and our
And it's
staff.
an email. It's an
Yeah,
email.
it's very simple, folks. How can we improve the roadwork situation in Bermuda? What are your thoughts? Sean Smith's asking a question: does Hamilton taxpayer have a say when work can be done? Well, that's what I was wanted to ask Mr. Olson. Is, if you're taxpayers, I mean, shouldn't you be involved in the conversation? Shouldn't you be consulted if it's going to impact your bottom line? It's to me, Sherry, this is not a difficult conversation. It's not a difficult problem to solve. It's not to me. There are many moving parts, right? We can admit there's one moving
Mm-hmm.
part about whether it requires overtime, whether it requires shift work, right? In terms of getting the work done on maybe a Sunday, or overnight when there's less traffic on the roads. I think that's what most people think the solution can be. But then we must ask, okay, what will the unions say? Are the unions in favor of this? Or are we going to say, well, people have families, they need to be home as well? I think democracy, and mind you, I don't think Bermuda is a democracy as long as you have queen. Just saying, we don't even elect our own premier. Let's call it what it is. But that said, I don't think that in a so-called democracy, we should be doing things that impact the majority if the majority don't have a say or aren't considered when decisions are being
Considered.
made.
Yeah, sending out a road advisory telling me what's going on and there was no discussion or consultation prior to it. Again, it's what's been going on for a while, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but for
And what's most frustrating is that there are roadworks going on in every nook and cranny. Wonder if it would be feasible to concentrate all crews to one area for a faster turnaround. Well,
yeah,
keep in mind the city of Hamilton is different from Works and Engineers. If I'm not mistaken, the roadwork in Hamilton is the corporation. Falls on the city of Hamilton. So I think that is different, but I see your point maybe for roadworks elsewhere. But if I'm not mistaken, it's a lot of private companies that are doing the roadwork
yes,
elsewhere. But it would make sense because while I was in Bermuda on different occasions over the last year, I mean, there were stoplights here and traffic lights there and this and that.
oh
I
my
mean, it
gosh.
was just a situation. Let's bring Lee in and see what she thinks, because
And
she's got to go over these bumps every day, right?
I was just saying, to love your people, I was going to turn down one street and I was like, I can't go, sweetie, that's been blocked. I was
But
like,
Sister Sherry, you make a great point, because you want to go Harbor Road to avoid the traffic lights up by between the old White's Price Right and Spice Valley, and then you get down Harbor Road, and then you're hitting some stoplights down right before the old Belmont there, and it's like, so you go Harbor Road, then you got to come back over one middle road. Like it's no way to avoid. Bermuda, you are so special. Let's bring Leanna in and see what she thinks, because something tells me she's on whoop-de-doos taking jumps like she's a motocross rider in that car. What's happening, Lee? How you doing?
whoopsie doos. It
Good
was
morning. When I say this is my biggest pet peeve, I want in on this one. I want
Oh,
is
in
it
on this
me?
one. No, honestly, listening to all the comments and all the suggestions is great, but just to, not place blame on anyone, but whoever is making these decisions without consulting the public, please stop. Please stop.
Wow.
Because at the end of the day, it is us that have to sit through all of this day in and day out. And I think, like you just said, it's like a maze. At first, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just affecting the West End. And I feel sorry for our residents in the West End. Then I take a drive down to the airport the other day, and I was like, oh, you're on every road. Like
Yes.
you're literally on every road. Like you hop over, and just like you said, it's like jumping through hula hoops. This is bananas, honestly. And I think I was among those who were saying during the pandemic, why wasn't this done while we were all stuck at home doing nothing and unable to leave our homes? It would have been the best solution, but who knows, for whatever reasons, like we said, whoever makes these decisions, but please consult the public, because I think one of our audience members said it best. Just sending out a press release saying apologies for the inconvenience is a slap in the face,
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah.
yeah.
And, for those coming from the West End throughout those months on Harbor Road and the lights that were on Middle Road, like,
And lights on.
Sherry, I don't think I've seen this level of annoyance from Leanna.
yeah, this one touched home for me.
Wow. I'm
Let's
gonna annoy a little
yeah.
bit more. Somerset colors. Wow,
No,
they
don't do
look
that.
nice.
Don't do that. She don't need
It's
that kind of.
May though. We
She doesn't
haven't
need
even
that kind of.
hit summer yet. So it's, have we? Yes, we have. But
No,
however,
no, we haven't hit
no.
Bermuda Day yet. No,
Yeah,
no,
we
no.
haven't even hit Bermuda Day. So
My
this is
birthday
allowed.
is the first. My birthday is the first day of summer,
But
June
that is
21st.
anointed and appointed by you and you only.
Exactly.
It's not. It's real. It honestly.
We have to get to the news break. Lee, over to you.
That's good. Thanks, Jamal and Sherry, and good morning to all of those who are tuned in with us this morning. I hope you all are having a great start to this cloudy Tuesday morning. I'm Leanna Lambert, and it's time for the Daily Hour News Break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. In today's top stories, there is light at the end of the tunnel as Bermuda's tourism sector is showing signs of a gradual recovery from the global COVID pandemic. Now, the news comes in as the Bermuda Tourism Authority released its figures for the first quarter of 2022, which has shown a modest upturn in the vital economic era. Now, compared with pre COVID crisis levels, leisure air visitor arrivals were down 70% to 7,172, but this amounted to a rise of 314% against 2021 figures. Bermuda's air capacity sank by 44% when set against 2019 levels. However, it was up by 112% measured against last year. The BTA said that despite reduced air capacity and challenges with visitor arrivals and hotel capacity, the upturn represented a glimmer of hope for the industry. Now, the sector is gradually moving in the right direction, they say, yet reduced hotel inventory and airlift remain a limiting factor. Meanwhile, a 38-year-old man accused of stabbing a man outside a bar in an incident on Christmas Eve has pleaded guilty to the charges. Jaha Mallory from Southampton was due to stand trial yesterday to a single count of wounding T.O. Smith with intent to cause grievous bodily harm on December 24th, 2019. However, the admission of guilt came moments before the trial was scheduled to begin in the Supreme Court yesterday morning. Now, the stabbing is said to have taken place outside Place's Place on Dundonald Street in Hamilton, with the victim reportedly suffering a wound to his chest. Puny Judge Sade Sabir Williams remanded Mallory into custody and ordered that a drug assessment be carried out before his sentencing. Mallory is expected to return to the courts on July 1st for the matter to be mentioned. And many might recall the great melodies that belted from the Bermuda Regiment once upon a time. Well, for those looking to relive those glory days of traveling to the regiment, can get a treat as military musicians past and present will throw a special celebration concert in the historic former Royal Naval Dockyard next Sunday, May 29th from 3 to 4:30 p.m. Now, the Royal Bermuda Regiment Band and Corps of Drums are set to take center stage at the free event in the Victorian Yard and Dockyard, which was organized as part of Heritage Month and designed to highlight its contribution to the RBR and public life. Now, organizers say the event, which is expected to feature more than 40 musicians, will also include a performance by the Bermuda Islands Pipe Band, born from an amalgamation of the former Bermuda Cadets Pipe Band and the Bermuda Pipe Band, made up of police and prison officers. Major Dwight Robinson, the RBR's director of music, said music moves the human spirit and contributes to developing the whole person, and those who attend can expect to hear music that will include well-known pieces tunes from the Silver Screen, and a little bit of soca. He also said the event would also be used to attract young musicians into the band and corps of drums. Taking a look at today's weather, we have a high near 74 and a low near 68 degrees. As you can see outside, a cloudy and wet start to this Tuesday morning. It will be several rainy periods throughout the day with a possible mist lurking around. Now, high pressure to the east weakens and declines, allowing wet periods to develop today with gusty winds at times. Expect for a brief shower on Wednesday. Drier and less humid weather will follow under strengthening high pressure. That's all for our daily hour news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Now let's head back to Jamal and Sherry in the studio for today's Daily Focus.
Thanks so much for that, Lee. Sherry, what you got for us days of the year?
Today is Pack Racked Day. This is a perfect day to little time of take time off and dig into closets, garages, and other storage spaces with one mission: to declutter. Hoarding can sometimes go under the radar as daily living makes it difficult to notice how many things we accumulate. Celebrate this day by getting rid of the old and making space for the new.
Oh.
Jamal, are you a hoarder?
Well, no, I threw away a bunch of studio lights this morning, took them like right before the show. So, no, I think I done pretty well, and I didn't even know it was declutter day. But
but I think we're talking more than studio lights. Like, are you?
Yeah, like it extends beyond the studio lights
Yeah.
now.
on the studio lights. I mean,
Yeah, like
I'm trying to create
clear
my narrative here. I'm trying to create my
Sorry,
narrative.
we'll ask Nikki. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to the source. Go to the
Do
source.
what you
Yes.
do. What you do. I tell you, Lee, we'll see you on Thursday.
I'll see you guys on Thursday.
All right.
right.
Have a good one.
Have a wonderful day, Lee. All right, Leanna Lambert, folks, do not go anywhere. We've got some guests coming up. We've got Paul Richards and Emanuel White. We're talking about Be the Change, an event focused on young Black men taking place in Bermuda this weekend. So good conversation. Stick with us. Sherry, why are you smiling?
Because I can. Because I know my birthday is the first day of summer, June 21st. Google it.
I thought it was June 16th for some reason.
It's not. It's the 21st.
All right. So what you want, a little happy birthday song or something?
Of
Too
course.
early? Too early?
No. June 1st start,
No.
actually.
All right. We'll take a break because she's trying to celebrate her birthday a month in advance, folks. Stick with us.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Hi, I'm Karen, a nurse at the old folks home. These long hours used to kill my feet until my hairdresser told me about a great place to buy a pair of clogs. Medical House. Finally, relief. They also carry uniforms in bright, bold colors. And not to mention the support stockings.
Karen, Miss Soltis bet her bet again.
Oh gosh, these days, I need all the support I can get.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke.
Every month is snack month for us, it would seem, as long as they're the healthful, guilt-free, delectable snacks we crave. Enter the Daily Crave, a company whose first product was churros, the well-loved Spanish treat, followed by diversification in the form of classic puff snacks and chips. They ventured beyond the traditional list of ingredients. The grains are gone, replaced by lentils, pulses, and cassava, slaking our craving with a vegan-friendly, gluten-free snack that satisfies. This month, we're featuring the Daily Crave Quinoa Bourbon Barbecue Chips. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
All righty, welcome back to the big show. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed on our website so you don't miss a chance for updates, promotions, prizes, and more. Also, if you're on the go and can't watch, that's okay. Download the BCG Radio app, available for both Android and Apple devices, and you can listen to us like all of those who are listening to us right now over there. Shout out to you. Can't comment, but I know you want to shout at Sherry and not me. But every
Always, Jamal.
Always me. No, never me. But we've got some guests in the house. We've got Paul Richards, Emanuel White. Let's bring them into our house. Good morning, gents. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
I'm great, thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. So real quickly, Mr. Richards, you're in Bermuda. Mr. White, you're in Texas.
That is correct.
I love it. We're global this morning. We've got four different places. But first off, thank you, Texas. You're even an hour behind us on the East Coast. So thank you for getting up early, way early to do this. We appreciate you, and we know that you have something good going on in Bermuda this weekend. Be the Change event. For those of you who haven't seen the commercial, it gives you insight as to what it's about. But before we get into the conversation and what this event is about, and ladies and gentlemen, if you we have a lot of conversations about what goes on in Bermuda. We just had an incident at a restaurant last week in Bermuda where a young man went in with a gun and Good Samaritans took him down. Thankfully, the gun didn't go off. But this event is going to cover all of that, things that are impacting Black males in Bermuda. But before we get into that, just tell the audience a bit about yourself, starting with you, Mr. Richards.
Yes. I'm Paul Richards. I am a husband, father, spiritual leader. We are just here to be able to hopefully encourage the men of Bermuda. Just want to clarify one thing real quick, that it's not just focused on the young Black man of Bermuda. It's focused on all men. We're calling all men and all teens to come out to this event. So we're just looking forward to being able to be there and to share and to encourage young men and all men to be able to be their best selves.
All righty. And Mr. White, all the way from Texas.
Good morning. And again, thank you for the opportunity. I'm a minister, but my specialty over the years, over the last 23, 24 years, has been working with men, young men, all men, because we have issues in our lives that sometimes we can't get through without some help. And a man can help another man. Iron sharpens iron. And we're really looking forward to the opportunity to be on the island again and to share on a broader spectrum. But we really thank you for this opportunity to be on your show.
Thank you, and thank you. So what's the purpose of this Be the Change event? Like, what's it all about?
Well, go ahead, Paul, if you want to start.
Yeah, start. What it's all about? It's about the challenges that men face, and we're particularly talk about it in Bermuda. We want to be able to help men, teenage young men, to be able to understand the challenges that we face, and then offer solutions and offer support to one another to try to overcome those challenges, and to be able to help our society to be a better society, and for our lives to be better overall, especially with our families, because that's where it really all starts.
And Mr. White, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, change is one of the most difficult things to do. I mean, changing your diet is hard. Changing your regular habits are hard. But when it comes to changing for the purpose of our society, we get in ruts, we get in patterns, and sometimes we don't believe change is even possible. But we are made as people and designed. We're the only creatures that God made that can actually change our whole paradigm if we choose to. But you just have to have a motivation, and you have to have sometimes a little nudge, a little friendly nudge for change.
I like that, a little friendly nudge. Why do you feel that it's necessary for us to have an event like this now?
It's particularly now, as you just mentioned earlier, Jamal, with all of the challenges that are going on in our community, especially with the violence that's really affecting a lot of people, and is actually becoming so commonplace that we don't want it to get where it's just accepted as now Bermuda's new norm. No, we got to change. Bermuda's too small. We have to change that, and so. The idea for this event came about just realizing that if men get a chance to talk, because we don't really talk about real stuff. We'll talk about football and cricket, and we'll talk about everything else, but we won't really talk much about the real challenges that we have and how to deal with them in our lives. And so the belief is that if we can have men to be able to do that, to get into groups where they can talk with one another about the real issues of life, and then talk about solutions, and then have a plan to be able to overcome that, then we can make this place a better place.
You want to add anything to that, Mr. White?
Just one thing. We are having challenges all over the world. Humanity, people. Some of the things that you're experiencing on the island of Bermuda are happening right here in Texas. It's everywhere. But if we can make a concerted effort to reach out and touch people and get them to think about other people in a different way, and then give them strategies that can help them to start moving in a different direction. I'm just honored to be asked to be a part of this. I am so excited about the opportunity to be there because I believe we can be the change. We can start that process, but it has to go on. You can't change society with an event, but you can plant seeds that can come up after the event.
Interesting. I know I've said on this show numerous times that I'm tired of talking about this. I'm tired of having this same conversation and even talking about different events. There's been so many of them like this, and they continue to take place regarding issues plaguing our young Black men. What makes this one different that would help yield results?
I am just so glad you asked that question. Because I'm of the same opinion. I don't like going to meetings that's just going to be talk, and nothing much come out of it. And so when we thought about this event, my mind was set was that no, we're not just having an event, another event. And so the difference is that we've got this gentleman here, Mr. Emanuel White, who has a program called the Brotherhood of Man. And this program is designed to address just what we're talking about, to help man to be able to change. And so the event that we're having on this coming Saturday at 5 to 7 in the afternoon, this event is what we consider a really kickoff event. It's a start. After this event, and we're hoping to get at least 2,000 men. We never had this before in Bermuda. We're looking to hopefully reach at least 2,000 men and teenage boys to come out to that event to hear inspiring messages that would encourage them to want to participate in the follow-up that will actually help bring about the change. Brother White's, I'm going to let him speak about that a little bit more, but he has a program called the Brotherhood of Man, and is designed to help this change to actually come about. So it's not just about one event. It's about succeeding events. It's going to be on Zoom. So it makes it nice and convenient for us to be able to get together and now let's talk and then come up with a plan and then action that plan to be able to get this change.
Okay.
Just to follow up with that, and you just can't, again, with an event, change people. You can plant seeds, but I love the idea of having a process that can help men start to deal with the issues as to why they're acting the way they're acting. If you never deal with the issues as to why you're doing what you're doing, you don't know how to do anything else. You don't know how to deal with your emotions. You don't know how to deal with your feelings. And so the curriculum that Paul is talking about was developed years ago, and we have taught it several times all over the country, all over the states. I've even done just a little of it out on the island, but it was at the congregation where Brother Paul works. But mostly it's been done in the country of the United States, and I can't wait to see the impact that it has with men, because we are made the same, we feel the same, we think the same.
I love what you have to say in regard to that, because we do need men, as I am the only female here, but we do need men to share and be vulnerable and show us that they do care, and that these things coming out will help them to change and be different. With that being said, and you did indicate, Mr. Paul, that you're going to have people that are going to be inspirational and motivational. So who are these speakers that will present, and what can those in attendance expect to hear from them?
Okay. One of the speakers is Raymond Simons, and also known as Whopper Bands. So he's pretty well known. He's one who is often called upon to share his story all over the island. And so we're thankful that we have him to come and to share his story and to share the positive encouragement in how to deal with the challenges of life. And then we also have Mr. Andre Curtis. He's also one who's pretty well known on the island, and he also will be coming to share his story and positivity and how to overcome challenges that we face in this life as a man. And then, as we have just mentioned, we've got a guest speaker from overseas, Emanuel White, who will be one of the main speakers.
And everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. And sometimes we think our stories are so unique. But when you get to talking with other men, you'll find we are connected. Our stories are similar. We've gone through some of the same things, and we thought we were the only ones experiencing it. And that just the telling of your story helps to connect men.
That's awesome. And I do believe that the more that we have conversations, the more that young men understand that emotions and being vulnerable is normal and it's helpful.
Okay.
But where can those interested in attending learn more?
Learn more about
the event.
Learn the event.
What the event?
Yeah, where's it taking place, time, and where?
Yes. Okay. Well, the time is upon us now, and so it's this Saturday. Event to take place this Saturday at the National Stadium, the North Field. Okay, the North Field, the big tent there, and we want to fill that tent, and we want to overflow it. They say we've over 2,000 young man, and so we'll be there at 5 p.m. The gates open at 4. Gates open at 4. The event is from 5 to 7. And we just want to fill that place with men and young men to be able to help change to come about on this island.
Alrighty. Gentlemen, I think you've got something good going here, and hopefully that tent is pretty full. Is there anything you'd like to say before you head out to the men and women who are watching, who may say, I've been to different events like this, I'm not going to another one? What would you say to someone who's on the fence or just feeling like it's just another event that's taking place?
Well, I would like to start by just quickly saying that, number one, have you ever seen an event like this in Bermuda? I don't recall any event where it's geared just toward all men, and all teenage young men, for them to come together in one place to talk about their issues and to talk about how we can be able to encourage one another and to see a way forward, and then be able to have a follow-up where it would be weekly meetings. We're looking for weekly meetings on Zoom to be able to now get into detail as to what we need to do to help bring about the change. Because as Sherry said, it's not about just talk. We're going to encourage them to, let's connect with one another, and then let's strategize in how we can understand ourselves better to be able to then make an impact on those who are around us in our community.
Indeed.
Brother White?
You want to add something to that, White?
Oh, absolutely. I want to speak to the sisters. Sisters, your men, you know them. If you bring them, get them, push them, nudge them, encourage them to be at this event, we're going to operate on their hearts in such a way to where when they come back, you're going to see it in their eyes, you're going to hear it in their voice. And if they make the commitment to follow up with the weekly meetings, I promise you this, they'll never be the same, they'll never think the same, and they'll never act the same.
Indeed. Gentlemen, Emanuel White, Paul Richards, thank you so much. All the best with this event. And
it's free. It's free. It's free.
That's key.
Very important.
That's a very important point. A free event for the benefit of the entire island, although geared toward men. I appreciate that call to the women.
Oh, thank you for having us. Thank you for letting us be here. God bless you.
Thank you for
coming.
Especially know how early it is over there. All the best, and we'll be in touch.
All right. Thank you.
All right, folks, if you appreciated that conversation with Paul Richards and Emanuel White, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share these kind of conversations. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up. We're also going to have the daily play. Sherry's not getting away. And this is a daily play that Bermuda. I have faith in you that you'll get this. Don't forget, check out Be the Change, free event taking place at National Stadium this Saturday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. For more information, just reach out to us and we will direct you. Sherry, do you prefer your summer treat? Is it snowball or ice cream?
I'll take a snowball.
Audience, let us know. Snowball or ice cream? We'll be back. We'll discuss after the break. But snowball or ice cream?
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security. There's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
I'm part of the SSCP, giving us opportunities to go out and sell, which is what I'm doing today.
One of the most important things I learned in the SSCP is that failure is just a part of being an entrepreneur.
As a vote community, then you can't go anywhere, can you? I just believe it's a really beautiful and amazing experience for everybody.
A lot of late nights being up trying to finalize things, especially for me.
You don't have to do everything at once. Little steps is the key to success.
They helped me go through every step of the way.
It has helped me gain more confidence, so that's one thing.
I'm Marley Spriggs and I am an entrepreneur.
My name is Joshua Allen and I am an entrepreneur.
My name is Trey Robertson Richards and I am an entrepreneur. My name is Namira Rayner and I am an entrepreneur.
My name is Vincent Darrell and I am an entrepreneur.
I'm Shayla Swan and I'm an entrepreneur.
I am Sophia Paxenhan. I am an entrepreneur.
My name is Zion and I'm a young entrepreneur.
All right, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to One Communications, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring we're able to do this for you on a daily basis. Also, a big thanks to Emanuel White and Paul Richards for today's conversation. Folks, don't forget, go check them out. National Stadium under the tent. Let's try to get those numbers up. 2,000 people, free event, 5 to 7 p.m. Males, we have a role to play in making our community a better place. All right, you said snowball, right, Sherry?
Yes.
What flavors? What's your syrup?
I like pineapple, strawberry with a little bit of gingerbread possibly.
Gotta have to. I was just gonna say she better say that. All right, we got. I think the audience with you. Stamcat Place likes snowball over ice cream. Christine Pyramid says snowball. We've got a snowball. Karen Simmons, snowball in the summer, ice cream in the winter. Says Mia.
I like that, Mia.
Yeah. Sherbet shake. Now, see, this is my girl right here. The family sherbet shake. It's sherbet shake all day.
That wasn't an option, right?
But like me, I'm that guy that's going to go to an Italian restaurant and order Chinese. It don't have to be an option. I'm going to do it anyway. So Sherbet Shake, I'm with you. Snowball. We've got Snowball. We've got ice cream. Ice cream. Okay. Snowball. Ice
I
cream.
like ice cream, but
Like a little sherbet.
yeah.
Little Snowball. All right. All right. So I know everybody's treats. I know everyone's treats. So when we have our first TDH, community event, we know that we'll probably have to have a little something, a little bit of each, or, make sure we have that ginger syrup for sharing. Yeah.
Please.
All right, folks. Look, it's time for Daily Play, brought to you by Heineken 0.0. Great taste, no alcohol. Sherry, are you ready?
Yes, I am, Jamal.
All right. It's a remember when Bermuda, show up. This is all about you. Show up, show up, show up. All right.
Okay.
Miss Bermuda, Gina Swenson, put Bermuda on the map by winning the Miss World contest in what year?
1978. Was it 1984? 86. Can I get some type of emotion of like I'm close?
No, the audience has got it, so you're not getting it.
Okay.
Sherry, you came get the closest you've ever come to an answer, and then you went so far left.
It was 79.
Yes, it was 79. You said 78. I thought you had it. And I'm just like, then you went to the 80s. What happened, Sherry?
I don't know. Okay, so what I remember of Gina Sankson, because I was born in 74 and I lived up in Prospect, and she used to live up there, I believe, back in the day. So I was like, okay, trying to figure out that time frame, and I was like 78. And I knew I was a little girl.
Sherry, you came. So it's like you were there and then you. Yeah.
But you gave me nothing like.
Well, I didn't give the audience nothing, and they all but Sam kept place in 75 and Mario Santucci 77. Everybody else got it right. I didn't need to give any. That's why I said, Bermuda, you got this. You got this.
I was close.
Of course, this was before I was born. So, I mean,
Which is one in the 80s or something.
Yeah, the best decade ever.
Definitely not.
Best decade ever created.
1974 was the shiznit.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, let's wrap this show up. Final thoughts. What you got for us?
There's so many solutions to the road traffic, to the road work that can be put on the table for it to make it a better situation for everybody involved. As far as be the change, I really like that conversation, because I do feel that there needs to be plenty of men and young men going to these events to hear other positive information from other men, if that makes any sense.
Well, I would say, as it relates to the road work taking place in Bermuda, I think that as I said earlier, as time changes, we should evolve. We should evolve as a group of people, and I'm not quite sure that we should keep the same mindset that we had 10 years ago, let alone 20 years ago. So, maybe we should look to see how things are done in other jurisdictions. I'm not quite sure we're doing what's in the best interest of the community when we have road work taking place at a time that inconveniences the majority of the people. So whether you can create shifts, you don't have to pay overtime with shifts. You can go back to the negotiating table and get contracts where you create a space where work takes place at a more convenient time for the majority of the people. It's to me, it doesn't seem as difficult as we're making it seem. So my hope is that more intellectual heads can get together and prevail and bring Bermudians a less stressful space as it relates to trying to get to work on time, trying to take their children to school, try to just enjoy going out for a eat, try to let businesses that have been impacted by a pandemic over the last 2 years, give them an opportunity to survive. So we've got to change our mindset. We've got to be the change, folks. It's an event by people for the people. Let's get out. Let's see what they have to offer and see how we can take the information that we gain from an event like this to improve our community. As we say on the Daily Hour, our job every day is to improve our community one conversation at a time. You've got some inspiration for us, Sherry?
I do. If we don't change, we don't grow. If we don't grow, we aren't really living. And that's from Gail Sheehy.
Yeah, I'm going to send that right back to government, City of Hamilton. Look, when it comes to those roads, if we don't grow, she just told you, we've got to do better. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you, on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.
Hey.